Hey everyone, John here! And ever since the Switch came out, you've had the capability to play your games on basically any console. Simply sign your account in on your Nintendo Switch, or a Nintendo Switch across the world, or a second Switch you have, and you can simply play your games, download them, play them on your account. Of course, there are restrictions to that, being you'd have to trust someone with your login. So if you're sharing a game with a friend, you would have had to trust them with your sign-in info, and that's not very secure. And the virtual game card system is kind of a more secure replacement of that. So you're not sharing any login info, you simply just distribute your digital games to anyone you sync with locally, and then they loan them for 2 weeks. But the problem with this is, once you've loaned that to that person, you temporarily don't own that game. You can revert it back to you, but then they'd lose it. So there's no way for both of you to play at the exact same time. Whereas with the old system, there absolutely was. You can play on 2 Switches at the same time. And there is a way to revert back and get that back, but we're still missing a very crucial feature. But first, how do we revert back? Well, first, go to the settings. Scroll down to Users. Choose your user, and you'll see a new setting called Online License. This is off by default. Turning it on basically gets rid of the virtual game card system. This means that you're back to basically doing online checks. So on your primary Switch, let's say this is my main Switch, this can do anything. This is where the primary account is registered. This has no restrictions at all. This secondary Switch, though, it has my sign-in info on there, but it's not where the main account lives. So to boot up any games, there's an online check. But with that said, I could simply put my main Switch in flight mode, play any game I want, and this Switch will have no idea that this Switch is playing any games, and it can just get access to anything. So that's one way of doing it, and you can still do that. So you can still play one digital game across multiple Switches, which is great. However, it used to be even better than that. And this may sound like an exploit, this may sound like an unintentional thing, but it was on the official Nintendo support page. They kind of encouraged you to do this. And I say was, it has absolutely been nuked now. It's not there anymore. But up until this update, they told you how to do this. So one thing you used to be able to do was play multiplayer games, online games, across 2 or multiple different Switches using one digital copy of the game. And as the Nintendo site urged you to do, what you did was basically, this is going to be a bit of a jumble to explain, but this is my primary Switch, this is my secondary Switch. But both Switches have the same accounts on them. So this is John's, this is Roxy's. Roxy still has John's account on here, but it's a secondary account. She can't access all of it without the internet. Whereas, same here, this is John's primary Switch, but I can't access Roxy's stuff without the internet. So what you could do, though, was swap over. So even though this is Roxy's primary Switch, she could boot up John's game on this account, and it would boot up fine, because it's basically doing the online check that you'd be doing with any other kind of online check. However, on this Switch, because I own all the games already, because it's my primary one, I can boot them with any account without any online checks. So I'll be able to boot up Mario Tennis Aces using Roxy's account, and there's no check because this is the primary Switch, where she's checked in on my account on her Switch. I know this is confusing, but basically what that achieved was you could play online together at the same time. It would not boot anyone off, because this Switch is rightfully using a license it owns, because it's the primary system, even though it's using a different account, whereas this Switch is logging on to the account that owns the game, but on a Switch that doesn't own the game. So it all works, it all worked. Not anymore. You can do that exact workaround, and it will not. It will just shut you both off. And again, this was official. This was something Nintendo allowed you to do, but not anymore. So if you were someone who played Splatoon 3 with your family, with one digital copy across multiple systems, that's not going to work anymore. You are going to have to, if you want to keep playing together, buy another copy of the game, which sucks. And Nintendo are kind of doing their own little thing with Game Share on Switch 2, so I guess this replaces that somewhat, but I don't know why they couldn't coexist. This was something that people used, quite a few people used, and it's just been ripped away. And there's no replacement to that. The virtual game card system is not a replacement to that. That's an entirely different thing. So this pretty cool Switch feature just no longer works with the new update. So I'm sorry to everyone affected by that. If you use this quite consistently, yeah, big sorries all around. It sucks that this doesn't work. There's no pros to this, it's just cons. But let me know what you think about the virtual game card system. Has this soured you on the whole thing, or are you still finding use for it? Personally, I still think it's kind of cool to play these games on accounts that aren't tethered to that game, but that's about where the pros really go. Anyway, thank you, and we'll catch you next time. Bye, everyone.